you can do it. It's as bizarre as it sounds. You'll never be good enough at this. Worst thing, because the blue light really affects your sleep. Yeah, so everything you do in your day-to-day life, even stuff like from childhood onwards, all, and like I say, in traumas, all affect it because they obviously heart chakra is another good one that gets blocked a lot by people too. I've seen manifestation from two different points of view, because I see it from a very spiritual point of view, and through doing coaching I've also seen it from a scientific point of view as well.
Would you encourage anyone to also embrace their negative thoughts? What's one spiritual myth you wish people would stop believing?
As controversial as this is going to sound.
Hello and welcome, guys. Welcome, Rewired Army. This is Rewired Podcast, and here we have Kelly as our guest today. But before that, let me tell you what the Rewired Podcast is all about. So, here we are talking about all those unconventional topics into life and entrepreneurship. And it's all about, making our own belief systems and based on not based on what society have been telling us. And today we have Kelly. She is a spiritual coach, and we're gonna talk all those things into manifestation and breathing work and all that chakra balancing and yoga and stuff. So Kelly, tell hi to our viewers and let everyone know who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm a spiritual life coach. I specialise mainly single parents that are just starting out from being realising they're not wanting to do what they do for a job, and they want to go into their own business and start it. So I actually help people go from that beginning stage and not knowing where to go, how to do it, whether what they want to do is what they want to do, and help them move forward.
Yeah, that's interesting profile, eh? So we're gonna talk into chakras and let's just dive into the question, right? So tell me something like as we start with our morning every day. So tell me, what is one morning routine that you have been following and everyone should do?
I actually get up every day at the same time, even on
At the
weekends.
same time.
Right on the week, yeah, at the same time. I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning. So
Oh,
part of that's because of having a kid yourself. You get your body clock becomes part of that. So naturally, I'm up 5 o'clock because I have to with my son. So I'm
okay.
up. Try to be up at least an hour before him in the morning for a bit of me time,
I
um,
see.
and, and two, to help with getting us ready to get out of the house on time in the morning. But because I'm up every day at the same time, weekends just naturally I end up being up at 5 o'clock. But it's good
Yeah.
because it
So
gives me that time to do what I want to do in the morning. So
yeah, but 5 a.m. is not something compulsory for everyone. I mean, it's like every day wake up at same time and get your things done because and from there comes I like how our routine is important because
mm.
you said you wake up at 5 a.m. and do everything like just every day same thing, right?
To
So
a
how is
degree,
that
yeah.
important?
To be fair, what I tend to try and do most mornings if I can is, again, it depends whether or not my son wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning or whether he
Okay.
sleeps in. That is a big factor. But what I
Okay.
try to do is get up, feed the cat,
Yeah.
then I will try and get breakfast in first thing. If I don't do it first, I'll prep it to take to work with me. So
Yeah.
I've got it all sorted. I'll get my clothes sorted the night before, or if it's something I've had to dry, I'll get that ironed. And then if I'm
Right.
really lucky, I'll get yoga in the morning and get at least about
Okay.
10 minutes of yoga done in the morning.
Yeah. Also, I see. Yeah. So you mentioned you are a spiritual coach, and by spirituality, you are also into yoga and chakra balancing. So tell us, what is like chakra balancing and yoga?
Well, most people tend to know yoga is a practice, like an exercise, I suppose, a practice where you get to bend into very random shapes, which is great
Okay.
for stretching your body out and moving the energy around your body. And it also uses breath work as well to you move with your breath. You don't just move in random shapes and stay like that. It's all about moving particular parts of your body and using all of your body to
Mm,
make the most of
right.
everything and stretch all your bits out. For me, for chakra balancing, for me, it's all about the energy centers of your body and making sure they're all in alignment and all the energy
Mhm.
moves through your body in a nice flowing manner rather than in a blocked and horrible, stagnant way. So it's
Okay, right. So chakra balancing is about like overall body and body's energy management.
Mhm.
And you mentioned about the chakras and balancing. So which is the one of the most important chakra of the body you think should be balanced or should be practiced almost every day?
To be fair, they're all kind of important in their own right because they all have a different supporting part of your body. So each
Mhm.
chakra relates to a specific area and a specific part of your body, as well as a specific kind of emotional
Right.
area as well. So most people tend to have issues with the root chakra. So if you've got, imagine it, they've got 7 chakras for your body. So you start with the root, you go to the sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. So they all line up. There's more than 7. There are lots more than that, but I'm not going to go into that. That's a bigger subject matter in itself. But yeah, your root chakra is mainly your stability. So it's like your grounding, you're stable, it's your security, all that
So
kind of.
only one chakra, we cannot tell that only one chakra is important, but we gotta balance all of them.
All of them, they all work intertwined together.
Hmm.
There's a
Does
huge amount
yeah,
about chakras you could go into, but
I see. So I see. I'm getting more interested into this. Does our like real life, I mean, everyday tensions and people have traumas. Does this affect chakras and how we can help balancing chakras into balancing our whole life?
yeah. So everything you do in your day-to-day life, even stuff like from childhood onwards, all and like I say, and traumas all affect it because your energy is stored in that area. So dependent on what that trauma is will depend on where it's stored in the body. So
Hmm.
like creatives, like for example, if you always got told not to speak or not to say words, your throat chakra will
Right.
get affected
Okay.
because you learn then not to be vocal, not to say
Mm.
things, not to speak your truth and stuff like that. So yeah, there'd be a blockage there, which is something personal I've gone through. I know that's one I've had to deal with. Obviously, heart chakra is another good one that gets blocked a lot by people too because of like the self love, not like not having parents being loving or being their emotional support that you need. That one can get blocked up for as well, not having the love, like the self worth, and
Mm.
that
Okay.
one probably affects a lot more people than they realise. It's not just self love
Right.
for other people as well. So it's just love in general. Yeah, that one
Mm.
gets hit quite hard by a
Right.
lot of people.
So you mean to say it can also come from childhood traumas, what parents have shown us, but we can change it in our course of life, right?
We
With
can,
with
yeah,
chakra
yeah,
balance.
yeah. I mean, if a lot of cases, it's like working through those areas. It's actually looking at the things that have gone on in your life, which is why coaching is great because when you do it in coaching form, it's talking about all those different things and what's gone on in your life and what area's been affected. So just talking about those in general, I can work out roughly which chakras are going to be affected by it, dependent on what comes up. And then dependent
Hmm.
on the person, if you really want to work on that, then you'll obviously look at that deeper and go through all the things that have caused that up to that point, and then it's up to me to ask the right questions to get more things out, to look at that and reframe it into your mind so it's no longer an issue anymore. You've kind of like changed the perspective.
Yeah.
It's no longer a
Okay.
problem, and that also helps with it unblocking out.
Right. Right. So it's all about your thoughts and your belief systems and all
Mm,
those things takes part into that, right?
yeah.
That's like interesting. As you being a spiritual coach, would you encourage anyone to also embrace their negative thoughts, or is it just like positive thoughts will make up you?
Yeah, It depends on your point of view on things. Like early on in my life, I always figured that you had to be positive all the time, and that's what raised your energy up and made things right. But we're human beings; we have both.
We
And
have both, yeah.
negative. I'm going to say negative in that way are not a bad thing because it highlights things. There's lessons to learn behind that. So if you're going down a negative thought pattern, why are you going down a negative thought pattern? Where has it come from? And asking all those questions when they come up will then start helping you reframe the whole
Right,
thing. So it's not a case of like going, oh, you're always negative or you're always positive. There's a nice equal balance between the two.
right,
So yeah, if you're getting lots of negative thoughts coming up, biggest questions to ask is why and where. Why am I having these thoughts? Where has this come from?
right,
And really looking deeply into where that's come from and asking those questions and probe and things and see what comes up. Because the more
right,
questions you ask, the more you can face it and actually go, actually, you know what, that doesn't serve me anymore. That's not part of who I am. And that's where I got that thought from. That's not my thoughts. That's somebody else's thoughts I've taken on. I don't need that anymore. And
right.
you can do it. It's as bizarre as it sounds. If when you
Like
do it, you
literally.
realise it, you can just like go, actually, I don't need that anymore. That's not part of who I am, and off it goes.
Right, exactly. This is what the main motto of this Rewired podcast is about. Like you gotta you gotta believe, make your own belief systems, and not based on what society has been telling us. So yeah, it's all about, as you told us, that it's all about being aware of what you're thinking and then transforming that into into good thoughts. So, how does manifestation help you here?
Good question. Good question. It depends on how you look at manifestation. Because I've seen manifestation from two different points of view. Because I see it from a very spiritual point of view, and through doing coaching, I've also seen it from a scientific point of view as well.
Okay,
So,
that would be interesting to know that.
so yeah, from like a spiritual point of view, most people class manifestation as wanting something in your life and then asking the universe for that, and then trusting the universe is going to provide that thing that you want without holding an attachment to it.
Okay,
So you can ask for, I don't know, I'm probably going to say lottery wins a massive one out there because that can bring up a lot of limiting things behind it. But let's just go with it for an example. You like ask to win the lottery, and you then go, do you know what? You forget all about it. You buy a lottery ticket. Next day you win. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the jackpot, but you might just win like £2, or you might win a bit more than that. But that's what you've asked for, and that's what you got. So it's
right.
being very specific on what you want, putting it out
Okay,
there, and then making the actions happen towards it coming. It's not something that's like you just ask the universe, it's just going to give it to you. Some days you kind of have to give action steps to make that happen too,
right.
and meet halfway. So, but from a scientific point of view, it's also about, and this has come from me listening to a Mel Robbins podcast, there's a part of your brain that's kind of like a safety net or a little net to filter, because your brain can only process so much information. There's like billions and billions of bits of information that your brain can process, and it can only process a small
Right.
amount of it. But there's a part of your brain that actually filters the things that are relevant. So you can actually ask your brain to find things and train it. So one thing she asked to do was like ask you to look for hearts.
Okay.
And like just look anywhere, just look for hearts, like even if like in nature or anywhere, and then you'll start training your brain to look for it, and therefore
Right.
you've then manifested it because you've asked your brain to find it. So your brain will then filter it for you because that's what you want to look for, and then you'll start seeing them everywhere. But that's what you've
Wow.
asked for it to do, so that's what it's going to do. So it's kind of, that's like retraining your brain to do things for you.
Yeah, and it's always like your subconscious mind is always there to, I mean, if you have problems and if you are manifesting that solution, that goal, and then your subconscious mind will work on its own to find solutions to that problems. And then in a sense it will look like universe is working, but then if you are working on that, then I mean, credit goes to you. Obviously universe will work, but then
Yep.
you gotta put in the action.
Yeah, but also similarly, that your subconscious can also work against you for it. So if you end up
Okay.
saying you want something, your subconscious is very good at protecting you. So
Mm-hmm.
it can also have the opposite effect. So, like, for example, the lottery issue again, if you say you want to win the lottery and you say, I want to win the jackpot, if there's a little bit at the back of your head that goes, yeah, that's never going to happen,
Yeah.
you've
That
already
that
sabotaged it straight
that
away. It's never going to happen because you don't believe it 100%.
right. The
Because
little feeling of doubt
yeah,
will can ruin everything,
yeah.
and then sometimes it will completely go on the subconscious mind, because at a point, yes, you are believing, but not 100%.
No, no. And your
See.
subconscious just wants to keep you safe as well, which is why a lot of people like sabotage themselves on things as well, because they do something, they want something so bad, but then if it goes against something they're used to and it's out
Mhm.
of their comfort zone, their brain will then do everything it can to make sure you don't
Right.
do that thing because it wants to stay safe.
Yeah.
Because it's literally in either, it's basically fight or flight. You're dead or you're alive. That's all your subconscious brain knows. If it's out of the
Mhm.
comfort zone, you're dead. But we're not in like, that's because it's back to the days of that's how we used to live. We either went out and survived, or we went out and we died. It was one of the
Yeah.
two, and our brains never caught up with that. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
why it does it.
I
So
see. Yeah. So how does you know morning meditation, and as you mentioned, breath work can help in all these things, like believing what I want, and training your subconscious mind every single morning.
breathwork can work in different ways, and meditation can work in different ways. It depends on what your end goal is for it. So for me,
Okay.
meditation is a good way of me just like not getting everything out of your head, because that's not the point of meditation. The point of it is to sit, let yourself relax, and just let the thoughts pass by without any attachment to them. If you get something come up, you acknowledge it, you let it go. It's not about sitting there and like cleaning your brain out. It doesn't work. I'm pretty sure I remember hearing something saying that the Dalai Lama gets like thoughts in his head every 3 seconds when he meditates. So it's not like something's gonna disappear. And like Dalai Lama like does it all the time, and if he's like a master at it and he's still getting like thoughts popping up, like
Right.
we're all
Makes
gonna
sense.
get it as well. But it does help to just like center yourself and calm your nervous system down a little bit as well, so that you're not in that
Exactly.
fight and flight. But
Mm-hmm.
breath work on its own is literally just
Yeah.
a case of breathing to regulate your own nervous system and get yourself from survival, fight and flight mode to chill,
I see.
happy mode.
Mm. I
So
see.
yeah.
Okay. One of the thing you also mentioned in when we scheduled it, it was something around what was that? Sub personality. So
Yeah.
tell me more about that.
Depending on what you look at as well, that can either be known as so subpersonalities, parts work, or is it internal family systems? It's also known as, or IFS. So
Okay.
it's based on the premise that not in a multiple personality dimension here. I just want to point that massively out. It's to do with how when you grow up and you do different things, there are certain parts of your brain that protect you from things that go on. So for example, when you say something to somebody, you say, actually, part of me wants to do this, but another part of me wants to do that. You basically got two parts of you that are in conflict. So subpersonalities is basically talking, and I mean actually talking to those parts that are having that conflict individually to see why and where they are. So you can have a word and ask them when they turned up in your life, why they're there to protect you. You can ask them when we had other questions, and then go to the other side and ask what exactly the same questions, and figure out that basically they do the same thing, but they're just doing it in different ways.
Mhm.
So
So,
you
so
have
this
more.
relates to say you want what you told, like you have negative thoughts and positive thoughts,
It's
both
not
of
so
them.
much. It's not so much a negative and a positive. It's just that there's one part of you that is a lot stronger and more verbal about what it wants to do, because it wants to keep, again, it's your subconscious wanting to keep you safe. The other part
Okay.
of you is like the part that wants to do the other side, the bit that basically you class it as your disowned self. It's a part of you that
Mhm.
you've gone, actually, I can't do that.
Right.
I'm not allowed to do that. The other one's just that little bit stronger and like pushes through a bit more. But after having conversations with both of those sides, weirdly as it sounds, because you're more aware of it and you understand where they come from, you kind of have more control of it. So they are part of you, but they are not you.
Okay.
So it's not like you can disown them or get rid of them. The whole point is to learn to work with them.
Work with them.
So for me, for example, like I would have massive like anger issues occasionally, not to the point where I would like beat my son or anything like that. It was more like I would just like shout at him because I'd be that het up over something, and then I'd just like let rip because he happens to just keep pushing on a nerve. Once I did parts work with another coach and realised where that problem lay and what the issue was, I was then more aware of it, and now I have complete control over that part. So it's very rare at all if I shout at him anymore, because I now know that a part of me is only doing that to protect me from something in my own childhood about how I used to bottle my feelings up a lot as a kid. I never expressed anger. That part of me was trying to let me express that anger, and unfortunately, kids are great at like pushing buttons and making you face your own shite, basically.
Anyway, you're right. And so it's about bringing that part of your thoughts into power, into much stronger way, which you wanna, which is the kind of personality you want in yourself, right? And
not quite. It's more of a case of knowing there's a part of you that I'll say part because everyone knows it, but there's a part of your personality that has developed due to something that's happened in your lifetime, and it's done it as a way to just help keep you safe or help process something that you refuse to process. So, and the other part of you is the bit that you've disowned and put to one side and said, I can't do any of that. I can't, but it comes up and you're like, that's why the conflict happens, because it's like that bit saying, no, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing more of this, not that. But everybody never listens to that side. They always want to do the other one because the other one's stronger. So it's basically learning to live with both of them on equal terms, that they both have an equal say. And if that bit comes up, you actually have more control to go, actually, do you know what? I don't really need that part of you right now. Can you back off? And even just saying like that is enough to make that back off, and the other side have that little bit of if you want to be more calmer, and that bit of the other side of you says, I want to be more calm and do this, that bit then takes over and lets you be that part of you that needs to be that part. They don't rule you. They're not bits that you want to get rid of. They're bits you want to learn to work with, because they'll always be with you, because that's the way the brain works. But they're there, and you can, and there's lots of different ones, and they're all like the self-sabotage person. The massive one is the control person that says you're not doing enough, or you'll never be good enough at this. Is another one, or the taskmaster that says if you want to be good at this, then you need to do this more. Which again, they actually interplay with each other as well. They all will work together and against each other quite happily. So it's having more of an awareness of those things coming up. So you can actually turn and go, actually, do you know what? No, I don't need you right now.
Yeah.
I need the other one. Give me the other one.
It comes back to confidence. Like, I have done that thing and I know it works out. I'm confident of that. So just don't come in my way.
Yeah,
right?
Back off, brain. Back off.
Exactly. Wow. So this is great. Like, we have almost been 15-20 minutes. It's going good. But right now we have to finish it with a quick fire round, and I'm pretty sure I thought it will be something interesting so we can add it up, right? Okay. So I have my quick fire round of questions in which I'll be asking a question and you can answer me in one word or a statement. It's completely fine.
Okay.
Right? Perfect. So question starts with a book that changed your perspective on self-growth.
I'd have to say at the minute it would be Loving Yourself by Byron Katie.
Okay, that's huge. Breath work or meditation? You have to pick only one.
I'd like to say meditation, but breath work has its advantages. They're both on equal par for me for very different reasons.
Okay. So okay.
But I suppose
obviously
if I had to one. Probably meditation, because it goes a bit deeper.
Meditation. Let's do that. What's
But
one spiritual myth you wish people would stop believing?
the as controversial as this is going to sound, when
Okay.
people go to spiritual practitioners to have Reiki done, or I don't know, anything else that comes up that I can't think of now, like shiatsu and stuff, it's not an instant fix. Yes, it will balance.
Right.
Yes, it will move stagnant energy, but unless you do the work behind it, it will never be an instant fix. It will just
Right.
be a moment of like helping you in that moment at that time. It will balance your energy out. It will clear out some of the blocks you've got, but a lot of the other work that people want it for, to get rid of all those self doubts and stuff, that won't work with that.
Action
It's
is the only way.
yeah. If
Right.
you want to get rid of that, you got to work on it. And I know that from personal experience because I've been down that route and I've tried doing that, and it definitely doesn't work.
Yeah. With one word, act.
Yeah.
Right. What's one thing that instantly raises your vibrations into meditation and stuff?
Meditation is a good one. Breathwork's another really good one. Um, just doing things that you love, actually. Just doing anything that you find that you really enjoy is an instant thing. So it doesn't have to be meditation. If you like painting, do painting. If you like singing, do singing. Running, jogging, anything that is an up mood, like lifts your mood up, just do that.
Right. Wow. That's huge. See that? I like. Okay. If you could give just one self-care tip for people scrolling their phones too much, what would it be?
Leave your phone in the morning, don't touch it.
In the morning?
Yeah, first thing in the morning, just leave it alone. Just
Yeah.
get up
I
and
would
just
add
don't
up to
touch it.
this. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I would add up to this, like every morning when you wake up, just give 5 to 10 minutes to yourself, just to wake up and get aware of what your things are, who you are, and all that stuff. Because sometimes in the morning, just wake up, get your things done, and get back into the routine. So I like that.
Yeah. And you're surprised at how much time you actually lose in the phone. Like if I can compare my morning routines, when what I used to do is like I get up first thing in the morning, the first thing I do when I got up is like look for my phone and look at
Hmm.
everything that's gone on. And the next thing you know, 15 minutes are gone and you're like, oh crap, I've got to get
Yeah.
ready. Whereas now I will literally leave my phone on my bedside counter. I don't even use it as an alarm anymore. I just like have it on charge out the way
Mm.
and I leave it there. I do not touch it until like later on in the day when I'm like getting ready to
Right.
pack everything to leave.
Yeah, one
So
of the hack is just keep aside your phone, even if your alarm is there. But still, just you gotta wake up, put your foot on the ground, and then walk up to there to get your phone.
yeah,
Some
yeah.
people
Even if
would be like they're just keeping it near
it's
them and using their phone. Even sometimes in the nighttime, they are, you know,
and it's the worst
using it
thing
for
as
now.
well. Worst thing because the blue light really affects your sleep. Massively
Yeah,
affects your sleep. So I try not to use it before I go to bed. I try and make sure I don't use it first thing in the morning because as soon as I use it, then the addiction kicks in and you want to be on it
yeah,
all the time. Whereas if you
right,
don't touch it and leave it alone, you'll be surprised how much more you get done in the morning.
yeah,
You'll be
exactly.
massively surprised.
It's
Because
a,
I've met
it,
people that come out and say like, I don't have enough time in the day to do everything. It's like if you actually looked at what you did on the day, how much and you can do it on iPhones, and you can actually look at a weekly activity of how much time you spend on your phone, and you'll be like, you'll look at it and you'll be probably spending at least 7 hours on your phone, if not 8 hours on your phone without realizing it, and
yeah,
you're wondering why you can't get anything done. There's
right.
your
Exactly. Wow. It has been wonderful podcast with you, Kelly. So tell our viewers where they can find you if they want to see you and they want to, because obviously.
most of my stuff is all on at Sanctuary for Soul underscore on Instagram.
Wonderful. Right. And they can find you on Instagram, follow you, and people obviously contact her because I know this has been wonderful podcast. And after this, you would want to go to her, follow her, and connect with her because it's all about rewiring your mind. And yeah, thank you so much, Kelly. It has been wonderful talking to you today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.